What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be telling you everything that you need in order to do a rear disc brake conversion kit on your 88 to 2002 GMT 400. So this video is going to be more specific to the 6-lug 14-bolt rear end, but if you have a 5-lug with a 10 to 12-bolt rear end, I'll also tell you what you need. So if you're wanting to do this rear disc brake conversion kit on your truck and you want to go through a company, you're going to be paying anywhere between $300 to $1,000 and more. But if you guys go the way that I did, you're going to be paying a lot less. The parts may not be all that good looking, but with a little bit of elbow grease, you can make your parts look really good. Now, I don't know how true this is. I haven't tested this theory out myself, but from all the threads and forums that I've read online and all the people in these groups on Facebook and the videos that I watched on YouTube, basically you get your rotors from the front of your truck if you have a 6-lug. So yeah, I haven't tested that theory out myself, so I don't know how accurate that is, but everybody is saying that you basically just take the rotors from the front of your truck and put them on the back when you have this rear disc brake conversion kit. You can go on Amazon or wherever you buy your parts from and get 4 drilled and slotted rotors for the front of your GMT 400 6-lug. Now, if you have the 5-lug rotors, the parts are going to be a little bit more difficult to find at a junkyard, but you could always go and purchase these rotors brand new from the store. You can get regular or drilled and slotted rotors. It's up to you. But your 5-lug rotors are going to be coming from a 1995 Chevrolet Impala SS. And those are for the rear as well. All right, so now that I covered where the rotors come from, if you got a 6-lug, it's going to come from the front of your truck. If you have a 5-lug, it's going to come from a 95 Chevrolet Impala SS rear. Now let's move on to the brake calipers. These brake calipers actually go to a 1979 to 1985 Cadillac Eldorado with the 5.7 V8 for the rear. So if you want to purchase these calipers online, you can. They're a lot cheaper online. If you want to go and purchase them from the store, you can as well. I don't know how much they would cost at the store. You'll just have to call your local parts store. And the pads are obviously going to go with the rotors, so make sure you get the pads that go to those rotors. But if you do get these calipers from the junkyard, you might as well go ahead and get brand new banjo bolts and bleeder screws for your calipers, just so that way everything is nice and fresh. Also, you want to get these bolts right here. Those bolts actually thread into this, and it goes in through these holes on the caliper, and it just all holds together through those plates. So you want to definitely get brand new bolts. You don't want to reuse those. I actually had a sort of hard time getting those off at the junkyard because they are Allen key. But if you have these bolts right here and they are stripped out, you can always use a pipe wrench to get them off. It's actually very easy. Now moving on to the brackets themselves. So this is what holds your entire rear disc brake conversion kit together. So if you take your drums off and you remove the pads and the hardware and the wheel cylinder, now you're left with the backing plate. And a whole lot of people cut the backing plate off just so that way they don't have to remove the axles and take off the backing plate that way. A lot of people just do it the lazy way, but for me, I'm actually going to be doing all that. So, you know, the rear end could use some new fluid, and you know, I can always check on it, make sure it's all good, and things of that nature. So yeah, I plan on keeping my drums. So these brackets, you can actually get them from a company. Now, I usually don't give shout outs to companies that don't sponsor me, but in this case, to help you guys out, there's a company called Cunningham Machine, and they actually have this entire rear disc brake conversion kit. I think you can actually order the parts from them, or they give you a parts list to go to the store and order everything. I'm not 100% sure. There's also another company called 4x4 Lug Nut or something like that. and they also have the whole entire kit. But you're going to be spending a lot of money when you go through these companies. But they might actually sell these brackets separately. I was actually going to have to go that route because I didn't know if I was going to be able to get this one off. You can see how dirty this one is because I had just got that from the junkyard yesterday, and I've had all these parts for a while now. But if you can't get them from either one of those companies, you can actually go on Amazon, and I actually found these exact brackets for a 12 bolt to 10 bolt for around $83. Now for a 14 bolt, I'm not 100% sure because it's kind of rare to find parts for the 14 bolts from what I've heard. But if you can go to the junkyard and find a rear disc brake conversion kit like I did, that's where all this came from, then that's the move right there. But you might actually have to do some research and find the 14 bolt specific rear disc brake conversion brackets. Now moving on to the last pieces of this whole puzzle, and that is the brake lines. So this brake line right here is actually off of the front of the Suburban that I got this whole entire kit off of. It actually has a lift kit on it, and I was wanting to get the lift kit off. I got all the bolts out, but for some reason I was not able to get the whole entire front crossbar off. I don't know why. Maybe the sway bars in a way. But this actually went on to the front passenger side of that truck. So right here is the banjo bolt that goes into the caliper itself, and this thing is actually pretty beefy. Here's the bracket, and it went right into the original brake line. So luckily for me, I have brand new brake lines on the passenger side of the front of my truck, but I need to do the same for the driver's side. But I just took these off of the truck at the junkyard, so I couldn't tell you what those are for. But this one right here that you see, this was off of the rear end of that same truck. So we got the T bar right here, or proportioning valve, whatever you want to call it. And it's got the brake line. This is for the driver's side. This is for the passenger side. And this big beefy one right here actually screws into the rest of your brake lines that go to the rear of your truck. So you have a brake line that goes from the front to the back, and it goes inside of this right here, and it goes down and tees off to both ends of your brake lines. So it seems how my brake lines in the rear of my truck are the original ones. It's the brake line with the threaded cable on it. It's very weak and brittle, so I decided to go ahead and take this whole entire thing because it's already set up and the brake lines look nice. So only thing I really got to do is just clean them up, and they should actually thread right into the brake lines that you need. So I kind of want to take some compressed air and just like maybe take this side out and just shoot air through here, take this side out and shoot air through there. Same for this and that, just in case there's any gunk or residue buildup, and just, you know, clean it out, put it all back together. But yeah, so now the final part that you need for this entire rear disc brake conversion kit for your truck is the brake lines that goes from each caliper to this brake line right here on the rear. So this is actually what the brake line looks like that goes on the caliper. So it's kind of like leveled in the back, and it's got this little piece taken out in the front. It's got this weird hunchback shape, and as a matter of fact, this kind of resembles that. Matter of fact, it does resemble that pretty well. So anyway, I think I might have just found out where these brake lines come from. So I only got one because it had the original brake line on the driver's side, and this was on the passenger side. It was a lifted truck, so they had to get longer brake lines. But the brake lines that you need that goes from the calipers to your existing brake line that's on the rear end is from a 2000 and up Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with the 5.3 V8 with the rear disc brakes in the back. So yeah, I was actually going to get those yesterday, but it was hot, I was sweaty, I was nasty, I was covered in grease and oil, and I just really did not feel like laying on a vehicle that's on the ground. They didn't have this one suspended in the air, so really didn't want to mess with that. But I kind of should have just went ahead and got them, because then I would have the entire kit. But yeah, so I just called O'Reilly's where I live at, and for both brake lines, the rubber brake lines for the calipers that go to the rear end, they're $24 a piece. So yeah, you're looking around $50-something for brake lines. Or you could do what I'm going to do and go on Amazon and just look up rubber brake lines for a 2000 Chevrolet Silverado for the rear, 1500, and it'll pop up $24 for two. So that's what I'm gonna do. Literally half the price. But I'm thinking that this brake line right here actually goes to the front of a 2000 and up Chevrolet Silverado 1500. So yeah, this was a pain to get out because it has one of these clips right here on it, and it's just like all tucked up, so it was kind of a pain to get off. But yeah, so I can't remember if I cut the brake lines at the junkyard or if somebody else did, but the brake lines were already drained. So yeah, but anyway, that is basically everything that you need to do a rear disc brake conversion kit for your GMT400 88 to 2002. So like I said, the rotors for the 6-lug are on the front of your truck, and the rotors for a 5-lug are on a 1995 Chevrolet Impala SS. The calipers are for a 1979 to 1985 Cadillac Eldorado with the 5.7 for the rear, along with the brake pads. The brake lines, you can actually just go and order those for your vehicle specifically, for the one that goes across the rear end anyway. And this one looks like it also goes to a 2001 Chevrolet Silverado, and the lines that you need for the calipers to the hard line are for a 2000 and up Chevy Silverado 1500 with the 5.3 V8. And obviously the brackets are special order, or you can go to the junkyard like I did. So altogether, I have spent $116. So when I bought both of the brake calipers with the pads, both of these rotors, and one bracket right there, it cost me $103 from the junkyard. Well, I had to go back, and I got this brake line right here, this brake line, and that bracket right there, and it cost me $13. So altogether, I should be under 150 bucks for this whole entire rear disc brake conversion kit. Now, if you go to the junkyard, you can get these calipers. I can't remember how much those are a piece, but every junkyard is basically different on their prices. I don't know where I put the receipt at, so I couldn't tell you how much I spent for each individual part. I know the brake pads are like $11, and I think the rotors are like 20 bucks a piece or something like that. The calipers, I don't know. You would just have to break down the math. $103 for 2 calipers, 2 rotors, 4 brake pads, and 1 bracket. I guess they probably didn't even charge me for the bracket, but break down the math and you can figure it out for yourself. But yeah, anyway, that's all I got for this video. If you guys need any help with anything, definitely leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll try to help you out as much as I possibly can. So the only thing that I need right now are the 2 rubber brake lines for the rear end, and I'm actually about to order those later on today. So yeah, they should be here the 14th of November. So I'm thinking about ordering those, and then one of these days I'll go out there, try to start the truck up, and get it running, pull it out back, and do this rear disc brake conversion kit. So if you guys seen this video helpful, go ahead and give it a big old fat like. It helps me out a lot. And if you guys want to help support the build, I do have stickers for sale. I got 8 stickers for $10 a piece, and you can buy those on Cash App. So the Cash App is the money sign German Muscle 95, all one word, and it'll pop up YouTuber, but YouTuber is spelled wrong. It wouldn't let me fix it, but that's me. You should see a picture of my BMW, and just send me $10 on there with your name, number, and address, and I will give you a sticker in the mail in a regular envelope. So anyway, that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.